when it comes time to changing your filter, what you want to do is first of all, you want to read all the instructions. You want to be prepared. Part of the preparation is getting a container and a rag with diluted bleach water so that you can clean the inside of the filter housings. You also want to have a container to drain the two housings into, to lighten them up so that when you go to remove them, they're not as heavy and you're less apt to spill the water. So that's preparation. Next thing you want to do is locate your valves. On this system, designated by the arrow here, this is the inlet, this other side is the outlet. So you got your inlet valve, you got your outlet valve, and then you have a bypass valve. To prepare for the changing or to start the changing, you want to make sure that you turn the inlet off and the outlet off, and then open the bypass valve. What that does is that allows unfiltered water to go to the house, so if somebody in the house still needs it, it's there. So next thing you want to do is you want to drain the systems, and to drain the systems, you simply turn the bottom drain valve to the open position, and do that for both of them. Get under here. And then you want to take your screwdriver and you want to open up the air vent valve that's on the top. You can see it there. What that will do is that'll allow more water to drain out and further empty the filter housings and make them a lot lighter. And now we wait and let that drain out. To drain it takes anywhere from 20 to 30 seconds normally. After this is drained, what you're going to want to do is you want to close the bottom drain valves and you want to remove the housings with the filters. And then we're going to clean them with the chlorinated water. Okay, so once your housings are done draining, the next step is to close those bottom drain valves. Quarter turn. And then use your filter wrench to remove the housings one at a time. Again, this is the inlet, this is the outlet. And the reason that's important is because there's a specific order that the filters need to go in. So you use your wrench by sliding it up like so, and you give it a little bit of a twist to loosen it up. Take your wrench off, and then finish the removal by having one hand underneath to support the weight once it comes loose, and then twist with the other one. And be careful, it is pretty heavy even with the water out of it. And that's all there is to removing the housing with the filter inside. Now, this is a brand new filter, so it's not dirty, but I wanted to show you how easy it is to take out. Okay, so once the filter has been removed, the next step is to clean the inside of the housing. Just wipe it out with your chlorinated water and a rag. Very simple process. Just wipe it out, reach in there real good, make sure you get all the way around. Clean the bottom. And now once you've cleaned the inside of the housing, the next step is to put a new filter in the housing. I wanted to make sure this special note for you, there is a correct way to install some of the filters. Anytime you get a filter from us that has up with some arrows, or it says up, that's how it needs to go into the housing. Literally drop it in so that this portion is up. In order for the filter to work its best, it needs to be installed in that direction. So just make sure you pay attention. It goes that way. And you want to make sure that you center it over the centering piece down at the bottom. Check your O-ring. Check your O-ring, make sure there's no debris on it and it feels like it's got some silicone lube on it. If it doesn't, put some more silicone lube on it to prevent it from binding when you reinstall. Now to reinstall, it's very simple. Support the bottom of the housing and simply line up the threads and start turning to tighten it. Once you get it started, you can just spin it on and then just give it a twist like so. Don't use a wrench. to tighten it. Only tighten it by hand. If you use a wrench to tighten it, you may not get it off when it comes time to change it again. All right, so you've changed your first filter. To change the second filter, it's exactly the same process. And once you've changed both the filters, the next process is to refill the housings with water. And to do that, you got to make sure that that these bottom drains are closed, which they are. And to now fill the housing with water, simply open very slowly and not very much your inlet supply valve. And what that'll do is that'll allow water to go into the first housing. It's going to push air out the vent valve, and it's going to go into the second housing and push air out that vent valve. Okay, once the air is pushed out, the housings are full of water. A little bit of water is going to start coming out the air vent valve. And so what you'll want to do is just use your screwdriver to close that vent valve and prevent the water from coming out anymore. There's that one. Now it's filling the second housing. And you can see the water leaking a little bit here. This is why we want a container underneath. A bucket will work just fine. But then we're going to close this valve, the air vent valve. Okay, now both the air vents are closed, the housings are full of water. The next step to bringing this filtration system back online is to fully open the inlet valve, fully open the outlet valve, and then close the bypass valve. So now that the inlet and outlet valves are open, your bypass valve is closed. The last step to do to be able to use your water is to bleed out any air and to bleed out any fines that come from the filters. To do that, just go into the kitchen, turn on the faucet, let it run full blast, let it run until you're sure there's no air coming out and all the filter fines are cleared. And finally, we want you to know when it's time to change your filter. Of course, you can sign up for auto ship or you can set a calendar. But we include with every filter and in every system a filter monitor. So the filter monitor is two pieces. It's a timer and it's a magnetic card. Take the timer and place it on the card and depress the bubble on the back. You'll hear it pop. This window here, this white window, will fill with red over a 12-month period. When that window's full, it's time to change your filter. So that, my friends, is how easy it is to maintain this system and never be without high-quality water again.